Or two on the expectations for the market open. Cameron Peacock joins us from IG Markets in Melbourne now. Cameron, what's your call for the market open after that weak Chinese data?
Yeah, good morning, Bridie. Look, Ingrid just stole my thunder. Look, after falling 0.7% last week, we're looking at a modestly higher open for our market today. We're currently calling the market up about 14 points or 0.3% around that 43.30 level. But as Ingrid said, with that weak Chinese PMI data due out over the weekend, there is probably some downside bias to that number. Now, as she mentioned, the PMI number came in at 49.2. That was below consensus estimates of 49.8 and really adds to those concerns of China slowing down, which have really weighed on markets in recent weeks. As we know, one of the big talking points last week was the performance of iron ore. Iron ore is down about 30+% since the end of June. It's fallen from that sort of 120 level down to current levels of around $90 a tonne, and we've seen, you know, names like BHP, Rio Tinto and Fortescue Metals really weighed down due to that falling iron ore price, and that's in turn dragged down the whole materials sector in the last couple of weeks. Now, just going back to BHP, it is worth noting that BHP does trade ex-dividend today. It is going to trade without its 54-cent dividend, and that's going to take about 9 points out of the index. So that opening call of ours for plus 14 does factor in BHP going ex-dividend. It does factor in the Chinese number over the weekend. So, you know, any gains that we're likely to see today could be capped, and I say that by looking at the Aussie dollar, which, you know, when it did open this morning, fell from that sort of 103.20 range back below 103 to the current levels of around 102.95.
Just looking at the week ahead too, because it is a really big week. What are you watching locally and internationally in terms of economic data?
Yeah, look, it's a huge week in terms of both local and economic data today. Just starting locally, today we've got retail sales numbers due out. They're expected to have risen about 0.3%. We've also got the ANZ job ads. Of course, tomorrow we've got the RBA rates decision, where we are expecting to see the RBA keep rates on hold again at current levels of 3.5%. On Wednesday, we've got GDP data due out. On Thursday, we've got the Australian unemployment report. We're expecting to see about 5,000 jobs having been created, and the unemployment rate ticking up slightly to about 5.3% from 5.2%. And then on Friday, we've got construction and trade balance numbers. So a huge week locally, which is going to have a big impact on the RBA's thinking going forward, and also the Australian dollar. And then obviously on the international scene, plenty of data out today. We've got the Chinese services sector PMI numbers out. We've got the final read of the HSBC manufacturing index due out. We've got PMI numbers from the UK and the US. We've got the Bank of England and ECB rates decisions due out on Thursday, and then of course the non-farm payrolls report on Friday. So just a huge swag of economic data for investors to get their head around this week.
Cameron, always appreciate that. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Bridie.